Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. I am Facundo Carballo and today I will explain you all about starvation. Starvation, like you can see here on the thumbnail of this video, it's produced when two or more routines are trying to get to the same resource using synchronization mechanisms, but only one routine can access to that particular resource and the rest of the routines or the concurrent process will never get access to that particular resource. So these other routines will be blocked forever until these routines that have access to that particular resource unlock the mutex, and well, all the others routine can access to this particular resource. But like this routine that have access to this resource will never unlock the mutex or the synchronization mechanism that this routine use for that particular resource, all the other routines will be blocked forever, and that's the problem. Wait, before we start with the video, I want to tell you two things. First, all the code that you will see here, you will have it on my GitHub repo. The link will be on the description of the video. And second, if you like this kind of videos, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. It's just 2 buttons. So the last concurrency problem that we will see is starvation. Starvation, when occurs? Well, starvation occurs in situation like this that you can see here on this diagram, where we have two routines that are looking to get for a particular resource, a particular variable, and to avoid race conditions, use mutex to synchronize the access of that routines to that particular resource. But how starvation occurs? Well, occurs when a routine or a concurrent process cannot access never to that particular resource. Occurs when a routine, a concurrent process, gets blocked forever in the mutex. And that's when happen. Well, happen when a routine get access to that particular resource, but will never unlock the mutex of that particular resource. Like you can see here, this routine number 1 access first to this mutex, so it's the first routine to get access here, and well, the mutex allow to this routine to access to this value, but this routine never unlock the mutex, never. So it will use this value forever until the main program ends. So this other routine, when try to lock the mutex A, the operating system will tell to the routine number 2, wait here, because the routine number 1 already have the mutex A locked for the routine number 1, so you have to wait here until the routine number 1 ends. But what happens? The routine number 1 never ends, so this routine will never execute, will never finish, because it will be waiting forever. So that's what happens. That is starvation. So we will see this on code now. So for this case, we have here two functions, a routine C and a function of starvation. Here we have a global mutex and a global value variable that is initialized on 0. The starvation function, who is the function that we will execute here, this function, the first thing that does is lock the mutex, this global mutex, and then execute this routine C in background in a concurrent way. And then, while this routine C is executing or not, this function of starvation creates a for end loop that will never end, and this for end loop will print starvation every 3 seconds, because here is waiting 3 seconds, and then will print again starvation and so on. And what does this routine C? Well, this routine C will try to lock the mutex, the global mutex, but will never can, because this starvation function, the first thing that does before to execute this routine C is lock the mutex, but never unlock the mutex. So here we have an starvation example, because this routine C will never execute. So if I execute this starvation function, you will never see this message of routine C value ++. The only message that we will see on the console is starvation. So I will execute this to see what happens. And here we are seeing our first starvation, our second starvation, and well, we can be waiting here forever because the routine C will never execute. And that's because the starvation. So to prevent that, we have to always lock the mutex and unlock the mutex. And this process of lock and unlock will not have to be outside of a for-end loop, because we can use mutex in a for-end loop, but the mutex have to be inside of the for-end loop, because if we lock the mutex here and then we go inside of a for-end, yes, we are locking the mutex correctly here, but we will never end this for-end loop. So if we want to prevent, for example, the print on the console, we have to do this instead. We have to here, inside of the for loop, lock the mutex and then unlock the mutex. If we apply this, the coroutine C will execute correctly without problems, because the starvation function will lock and unlock the mutex inside of this for-end loop. So every time that this for-end loop executes, we'll try to lock, and when this function can lock the mutex, well, we'll print this, we'll wait for 3 seconds, and then we'll unlock the mutex. So in that particular case, when we unlock the mutex, we are allowing to other coroutines that can use this mutex to enter to this critical zone and do wherever these other functions wants to do. So we will check this to show you that using this, the coroutine C will execute properly. So I execute this, and here the coroutine C executes. Like I always said, with concurrency, we don't have the control of our program, because we can think that the coroutine C, like is here, it will execute first that this, but you can see here that was executed twice this for-end loop and then the coroutine C. So when we work with concurrency, we don't have the control of our programs. The order of our programs depends on the operating system now, but that's fine, because concurrency improves the performance of our programs. But like always I said, we have to be careful with concurrency, because applying bad practice in concurrency, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous for our programs. So that's all. That's all for starvations. And well, that's all for this video. I hope that you could understand all about starvation. And well, I will ask you again that if you like this kind of videos, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. See you on the next video.